This is a A2 Media Advanced Portfolio from Adil and Awais. Question 1. In what way does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? First of all, our trailer breaks stereotypes as the main character is kidnapped. Therefore, we are challenging the conventions of usual action films. The brothers are seen as usual people. However, we still try to keep the characters strong. We kept the kidnappers' uniform stereotypically black and the rest in different clothing. We believe this demonstrated the contrast well.
We kept the filming local and realistic, using the local woods and also the school basement. I think this helped to keep the film realistic and it didn't push many borders. As our location was close, it meant that we didn't need to go extra lengths when filming. So it also meant we could focus on the editing and take more time to make it look perfect.
Throughout our trailer, we have placed suspense-building music and also used a typewriter sound over our titles, which gave that extra effect. This uses the conventions of most action trailers, but also develops them as this particular track is modern, which targets a younger audience, but also draws the interest of an older audience, as the music is making it sound realistic and engages the audience and gives the trailer a twist.
We added a gunshot noise when our gunshots were made. This captured the audience attention. It looked professional and introduced our trailer much like other trailers. We also added sounds when we used the bat to attack people, as this gave it a real live effect as it was happening there in front of us.
Our voice we used in a couple of the shots in the trailer developed the conventions of the trailers we looked at. Unlike others were subtitled, the voice we used in our trailer was in first person and showed the voice of the kidnappers and how vile they are.
Our film is shot in high definition, making it look extremely professional, but we use different shots, low and high angles. We also tried steadicams so that our trailer has a unique feel to it. This was mainly about us challenging our confidence and also to push the conventions in our trailer to the best possible.
We also used the conventions of other action trailers by showing quick cuts in various scenes. A getaway scene was also put in, so it created that scenario for the film and also gave it a good ending because it meant the audience would want to find out what will happen next. I believe this makes our film easy to categorize.
We use a lot of editing effects to create our film. We also use subtitles over some of the voiceovers. However, we also spent a lot of time creating the title screens with the use of special effects so that it brings out conventions of real movie trailers, and I think we did challenge the conventions.
Question 2. How effective is the combination of your main product and your ancillary tasks? Our ancillary tasks were a poster and a magazine. Our poster expressed everything and the audience instantly knows what the meaning is about. We photoshopped this and made it as detailed as possible. We used layering and many effects just to get the message across through the poster. The poster showed the three victims held hostage and tied up. This gives the audience a feel of what the trailer is going to be about. So instantly they're engaged with the film.
Our magazine shows different images from the production, giving the audience more of a feel for the film. We did this to create the extra to emphasize the magazine to the best possible.
Both of these posters and magazines were both photoshopped in detail. Therefore, both are eye-catching and intriguing for the audience. We try to emphasize the pictures as much as we could. In the magazine, there's numerous pictures. There's not just one. There's 3 different pictures, all photoshopped to the best of our ability. And we weren't familiar with Photoshop at the start of the process. It's something we have to get used to and basically learn. So we did it to the best of our ability.
The mask in the corner of the poster gives the audience a feel of how the kidnappers may be like as individuals. This creates the effectiveness of the poster and gives it the feel to the audience of what the kidnappers may be like.
I believe that it's very effective. I believe that it's a very effective combination. The poster and the magazine really promote the trailer really well. It's they both promote each other really, and they both just leave the audience wanting more. Question 3: what have you learned from your audience feedback? Our First of all, we started our production by asking people through a survey of what kind of trailer they would like to see. Our feedback showed that people are more interested in action movies than any other genre, so that's why we decided to go with the action genre. When we sent out the question, our first question was asking them about the gender, and surprisingly it turned out that more female people preferred an action movie. More female people answered the question and also answered the survey, and also they preferred more action movies than the males did.
We also asked the age group of the people that answered the survey. The only age group that we didn't have a response from was from 20 to 24-year-olds. Apart from them, all the other groups we put in did have some response. We also had 14% of people who did answer this was 50 plus in age. So this showed many people liked answered our survey.
In our third question, we asked about the genre. As I mentioned before, action was the most popular, but also comedy was up there, right next to right next to action. 42% chose to go with the comedy genre, but 44% went with the action. So we were in a bit of a pickle to see which genre to go with. So basically, we just thought maybe we were thinking about maybe adding a bit of comedy with our action trailer, but we just decided to go against that.
Our fourth question was to ask how often people go to the cinema. The vast majority of people who answered it said hardly ever, and 7% said they go once a week. And there was also many people who skipped this question, which showed not many people are interested in going to the cinema.
An important question we thought in this trailer would be to ask about the sound in the background, and because basically if you're doing an action movie trailer, you need to know what kind of sound you need in the background. So we asked them, and they said basically that 44% of the people answered the question said that they would rather have music from popular artists than any other sort of track. So we took that on board, but also no one skipped this question. Therefore, this is going to include an instrumental music for our production.
For the rest of the audience feedback, we put our trailer on Facebook, and on Facebook you are allowed to like or dislike the link. We had many likes, but we also had some dislikes, and people could comment on their views. We had various different comments of people who liked it and also disliked it, and this talked about what could be done to make it better, like using more effects and also using more voiceovers. That was the most criticism we had.
We took all the comments on Facebook on board, and we tried to implement them into our production so to improve it. As well as this, we went into YouTube. We put it on YouTube and saw what people. We just put it out to a wider audience, and they also had many criticisms to give us. We took that criticism on board and put it in, and hopefully we believe we done a good job with it. When we presented our production to the audience, and it turned out the reaction was actually pretty good. They all said that they enjoyed it. They enjoyed various parts of it. They all had their specific parts which they really found intriguing. It was mainly positive feedback. There was very, very slight negative feedback, as opposed to, which is in contrast to when we put it out on Facebook and YouTube, where we got a lot of criticism. When our finished product hardly got any criticism, and it proved to be a success. Question 4: How did you use new media technologies in the construction and research, planning and evaluation stages? We had to get to grips with many new different softwares that we weren't aware of before we started this production. As for example, we had to get it. For example, Adobe Premiere Pro was something we used throughout the whole production. That we used that to edit our sequence out, edit our sounds out. It was the main software we used in this whole process. Adobe Premiere Pro proved to be very easy to use. It was very basic. As well as this, it proved to do the job really well. Also, the Adobe Premiere Pro was very helpful in layering the sounds, layering the videos to give it that extra effect that we want to go for.
We also had to get the hang of using the After Effects, which was part of the Adobe Premiere suite. We used After Effects to create our titles and also to create effects that come with the titles. It was hard to use at first, but once you get used to it, it was easy for us, and we used this throughout the whole of the production, and it helped complete the final production.
Also, a software we used, which was Microsoft Word. It wasn't something that it was new to us. It was something that we've been using all our lives, so it was pretty easy for us. We used that for scripting. We had to script our production out many times. At the start, we had a script which we later thought which was not up to the standard that we thought that we would expect. We had to script our production many times, around 4 to 5 times. We had to elaborate on different aspects of our production. I believe our final script was worthy of it was worthy of any production.
We also used the internet to help complete our production. We used free sound music and also free play music to get all the sounds that match with fit in with our production. We also used the websites we used were all free and they were copyright free as well.
Something that was completely new to us was Photoshop. We have never used Photoshop ever before, so therefore it was hard to really get around how using it properly. We want to use as many effects as possible for our poster and magazine, our ancillary tasks. But yeah, we believe we did a really good job with it. We made it detailed. We put in as many effects as possible. We think we did a good job with it, seen as though we had no idea how to use it at the start of the production. And lastly, we used a program called Final Cut from the Adobe suite. This was something also that's completely new to us, but it's pretty similar to Adobe Premiere Pro. It was very helpful and efficient in editing our evaluation. It was very basic, it was simple to use, and it proved to do the job effectively. We were really happy with the software that we used, and we were really happy with the final production at the end.
Thanks for listening to our evaluation. From me, Adil Hussain.
And me, Awais Ashfaq.